Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to the Text Bite, your friend in the GST journey. Friends, today we will discuss important judgment issued by the High Court of Madras in the matter of A Fortune Trading Research Lab LLP. This judgment relates to the all service exporters who are facing inquiries from the department regarding the receipt of consideration in INR. Now, as per the facts of the case, the company or the petitioner was engaged in exporting the services to its recipient, which are located outside India, basically in US or the vicinity of US, right? And then the service exporter was receiving the consideration for export of services in its bank account in India in INR. Now, friends, the contention or the issue which has been litigated by the GST authorities is, since the consideration has been received in India in INR, the services provided by the Indian exporter would not qualify as exporter services, and hence the Indian exporter would be required to pay GST on the entire turnover. Now, the matter reached the High Court, and the High Court took notice of the definitions of export of services as provided under the IGST Act 2017. Now, when the concept is not new, in fact, now we are in the sixth year of implementation of GST. The export of services has 4 or 5 conditions which are to be satisfied for any service to be qualified as export of services. The first one is that the service exporter should be located in India. The second is that the location of service recipient should be outside India, and you know that there are specific elaborate rules or the definitions as insofar as the location of supplier or the location of recipient is concerned. The third condition is that the consideration should be received in foreign currency or in INR if permitted by the RBI. The second part of this consideration received in INR was added some 2 or 3 years back by a specific amendment to IGST Act. The fourth condition is that the provider and the recipient are not merely an establishment of a distinct person. And the final condition is that the place of supply should be outside India. Now, this entire case is concerning the third condition, that since the consideration has been received in INR, the service would not be treated as export of services. Now, before we go to the findings of the High Court, another important aspect or the fact which should be noted is that the modus operandi which has been followed by this exporter is that it is receiving the consideration from the recipient outside India through a payment gateway. The name of their payment gateway was PayPal. Now, as per the procedure followed by PayPal, the PayPal received the consideration from foreign recipient in say US dollar, that is foreign exchange. However, while remitting the amount to the Indian service provider, it first of all deducted its commission from the gross consideration received from the foreign recipient, and then credits the remaining amount in the bank account of Indian exporter in INR. Means, though PayPal received the consideration from recipient in foreign exchange, but when it hits the Indian bank account, it was in INR. Now, in this background, the court noted first of all the facts of the case as is the usual matter, and then they noted the statutory provisions which are provided under IGST Act, especially the definition of export of service. Section 16, which deals with the zero rated supplies and the benefit which are available to the supplier. Then section 54, which deals with the refunds which are available to the exporter of services, the refund of ITC thereupon. And then the FEMA provision, the Foreign Exchange Management Act provisions governing the receipt of consideration in India on export of supplies. The High Court noted that the PayPal, means the payment gateway, is nothing but an extended arm of the Indian exporter. So, when PayPal received the consideration from foreign recipient in foreign currency, then the definition of export of services is taken care of and the services is amounting to exports. Merely because PayPal is crediting the Indian service provider bank account in INR, that was in pursuance to a RBI regulation which PayPal could not have violated. So the court held that even though the bank account of the Indian service provider exporter is credited with INR, the service will still be amounted as exporter services. Now friends, I will again take you back to the service tax regime to examine whether the courts have taken a consistent stand or taken divergent stand. In fact, the judgment which has been held by High Court is in continuation of a judgment, similar judgment which was held in the case of national engineering by a tribunal. There what has happened, exporter of services exported the services to a recipient outside India. That recipient paid the service, the consideration for that service to a third party, and that third party paid to that exporter in Indian rupee. So again here, like in the present case, the service tax authorities proceeded against that exporter and said that your services are not export and hence pay the service tax because you have received the consideration in INR. And the tribunal held that nothing doing. The fulcrum or the basic text is that the Indian exchequer should have a positive net foreign exchange inflow. Here it can be seen that the foreign service recipient remitted the money in foreign exchange to India, and there is no foreign exchange which has flown out of India. So in view of the net foreign exchange positive in India, the service tantamounted to export of services. So likewise here also the High Court has taken an even stand. So this judgment would come very handy, in fact, in case of the exporter of the services, wherever the question is that the exporter has received the consideration not in foreign exchange but in INR. So friends, hope that you will find the judgment informative and useful. So thank you.